Hello, my name is HAPruitt, and I'm the author of Anelthalien and the second book in the Anelthalien series, Earth Quaking. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Earth Quaking. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the inspiration behind Earth Quaking. And I'm going to talk about the inspiration because my author friend Joshua Reed asked about the inspiration behind Earth Quaking. And so if you watched many of my videos, if you watched the videos of the story behind the story of Anelthalien, you may know already that the inspiration is a little different than most authors when they write, and most other things I write. Other things you get an idea, you get some kind of theme in your mind that you want to convey, and then you go from something and make it into your story. It's different with Anelthalien. Like I say in the story behind the story of Anelthalien, God just told me to start writing, and I did. I had always played this imaginary world, so it was like my world, but what is in these books was never in my mind. Like some of the names, some of the characters, not even some of the places. It's different. It's so different that it's not like I got an inspiration and started writing. I just love this idea of this place called Anelthalien, and then God told me to start writing, and I'm like, okay, and he just started giving me the story. So there's no pre-inspiration for Anelthalien. The motivation behind why I wrote the first book, why I wrote the second book, why I have continued, and now I'm on the sixth book, which is extremely long, and it makes me so happy, is I don't have something I'm trying to convey, but I just want to spend time with God and keep hearing this amazing story he's given me, because he shows so much of himself and so much about him through these books, and it's super exciting and I love it. And so I just keep listening, and he keeps giving me more of the story, so I keep writing. So there's no real inspiration behind the Anelthalien books. I just want to be with God, and that's about it. But whenever normally authors and in other things I write, when I have an inspiration or other people have an inspiration, they want to convey something. An inspiration usually leads authors to include certain themes, and the themes I noticed after writing and reading and rereading Earth Quaking are what I'll talk about in this video. So it's similar to the inspiration, but it's kind of backwards. I noticed it after I read it, and it's what I pulled out from Earth Quaking after I read it. So there you go. The main theme in Earth Quaking is trust and distrust, the opposite sides of trust. And you see that pop up throughout the book a lot, and in quite a few different ways. The characters encounter a series of situations that cause them to question who they can trust. They encounter a city that causes them to wonder about trust. They start encountering things about each other, which make them wonder if they can trust each other. A person, an object, the makers, the necklaces. They start wondering, can I trust all these different things, and start having all these questions about trust. And they have a lot of questions throughout the book, and some are answered and some are not answered. And the characters are in the dark, literally, throughout a lot of the book. I won't say more, so I won't give anything away. But they're in the dark, and they're also in the dark about kind of what's going on with their situation and the makers and just everything. And so they're really struggling to figure out who's trustworthy and how can I even know where trust is. And there's a lot of questions in the book. And they don't fully learn everything by the end. Like I said, there's a lot of the story left. And so they're not going to find out everything by the end. They're not going to find out who they can trust. They're not going to find out what they can place their trust in. But they do move forward, and they do start to recognize which voices they can and can't trust. They figure out among themselves, the four main characters kind of feel out who they can trust among themselves, and they learn a little bit more about the necklaces and the makers, and start sifting through these ideas and sorting through everything, listening to the voices, all these voices that are talking to them, and figuring out which ones they can depend on and why. They start going through the process of thinking it, just like when we start off as, I don't know if when we start off, but as we walk with God and our relationship with him, we may have times where we question, how do I know I can trust him? How, is he really trustworthy? And we just have all these questions about our trust. And if this God who we can never really see and most of us can never really hear, audibly, how do we know we can trust him? And how do we even know it's his voice we're hearing? And those are some questions that those are the questions that the characters go through. They're like, how do we know it's his voice and not somebody else's voice? Because we hear a lot of people telling us a lot of things, but which voice is actually the maker's voice? So they need to discern even how do we tell which one's which. And I really love how God helped me describe that in the book. It's just mind-blowingly simple. How Kendall is this is how we know it's the maker. And it's very mind-blowingly simple. So read that and so you can figure it out. I won't tell you now so you'll want to read the book. But just, there's so many questions about trust, and I love how they go through the process. And it's not just a clean cut, well, this is the answer and we just move on with our lives. It's like real life whenever, we're never going to get answers about God that really make us feel fully satisfied and fully happy, because God is so vast and beyond our comprehension. And so when we get the answers that are mind-blowingly simple, a lot of the time, we're just well, but, how do I really know I can trust him? And how do I know he always does the right thing? How do I know? And the answer often is simple as you can, and he is, and that doesn't satisfy people. And so I really enjoy how God had me write this book in a way that they have to process things, they have to think through things, and they have to look at their experiences rather than just the clean-cut answers that are true but are hard to accept. And through their experiences, they learn more and connect to God more, rather than just saying, oh, well, God is trustworthy, so I can trust him. They see, he keeps showing up when we are in trouble. He keeps talking to me when I have no idea what's going on. They see through their experiences that they can trust him, and they grow. They don't fully get there. They're not going to get there for a while, but they grow, and that is wonderful, that they grow in their trust of this, right now, in this book, a maker who's pretty distant and pretty vague in their understanding. And I really do love how that connects so much to real life with God. Our understanding of trust develops as we just go through life with him. It doesn't develop whenever we sit in church and just hear people tell us you can trust him. It develops when we actually say, okay, God, I'm going to trust you in this instance, and let's see what happens. And we do. And we step out in faith and we see, wow, God showed up. And that's what grows our faith. And that's how the trust is in Anelthalien. And when they encounter other people who they can't trust, they see in their experiences with those people, oh, I can't trust them because this happened. They said this, but then this is what their actions showed. So it shows trust in so many different ways and distrust in so many different ways. It's really cool and I love it. So that is the not inspiration, but as close as I can get to the inspiration behind Earth Quaking. It shows trust and how trust develops with our maker, God, whenever we do life with him and just let him be working in our lives. So that, I hope, answers Joshua's question and just was a really interesting video, and I hope it makes you want to read Earth Quaking. It's not just a straight preachy kind of book. Like, it might be easy to miss if you're not really reading and taking time to think about what the characters are saying. So it's like a super fun adventure, but it's also really deep and really cool in that way. So please do read Anelthalien and Earth Quaking. They're both available on Amazon, and please like this video. Please comment if you have any questions or want to talk about trust and God and how that all develops and just anything related to that. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and ask me if you have any other questions about Earth Quaking, because I do want to do more videos telling about Earth Quaking because I haven't done very many, and I'm just super excited about these books because they're just so good. They connect me and hopefully others to God so much. So thank you for watching. That's all for today. Bye.
If you want to know more about Anelthalien or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anelthalien, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anelthalien is. The website is HAPruitt.com.
Let's go. Let's go like we're on Ninja Warrior. Let's go. Okay. Don't fall. And specifically, there is a loud truck. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Of Anelthalien, and the second book in the